G'day and welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today by Algared. How you doing, mate?
It's almost always joined by Algared, but yeah, I'm good.
Oh, I'm slowly recovering from CitizenCon. I don't know about you. But yeah, we're essentially the day after, aren't we?
It is the day after. After
Mm,
2 days after 4 a.m. starts was pretty nasty. I've got to admit.
yes.
Fortunately, today was a work day,
Mm-hmm.
um, it was good, but it was a professional development. So students weren't there. It was a very light day. Um, jeans and t-shirt type day at school, which is always
Mm.
wonderful. Um,
So obviously at CitizenCon, we had the Paladin come out. So today we're going to be doing a
we did.
Paladin's buyer's guide. And we're going to be going over what we've explored so far and how to look at. And hopefully we can get the other ones out to you also in quick succession. But we thought we'll start
Mm,
here and work our way down, so to speak.
yep.
Um, right. When this came out how long ago was it now that it came out, Ogrid?
When
December
it was
last
first
year?
hinted, when it was first really
Yeah.
concepted or put out, yep.
Yeah, so I believe it was December last year. I picked up a CCU. I was not
Sold on
exactly
it.
sold on it, but seeing and kind of hearing about it over the year, about 3 months ago, I actually applied the CCU. And then seeing at CitizenCon, I was like, so happy I did. Um,
Yep.
I am. This is a sheep that speaks to me. If you know how I feel about the Redeemer, I feel very similar about this. And I'm going to be honest. My initial impression is I probably will like this more than the Redeemer, given time. I don't know what that means for my Redeemer yet. I might keep both. I don't know. But this is again. It could just be look, and the reason for that is it's just updated and it kind of feels a bit better.
Yep.
That's why I'm going to kind of take my time.
Yeah, I think I think both of those two gunships are going to do different roles. Like
Oh yeah, definitely.
I can't get past the Paladin being, to me it just starts triggering those D&D vibes. Your Paladin is your tank. It sits there and takes the damage, whereas the fighter's the one that goes in and does the damage, and it's.
But you can also look at one as a long range kind of offensive, and the other one's kind of
Yeah.
short range tanky defensive, right? So they
Yeah.
both cater to different roles. Obviously, if you were to have a flying competition, the Redeemer would outfly the Paladin.
Yeah.
But obviously, then you've got size 5 guns versus size 4 guns. I am
Yeah,
very interested to see some testing between Redeemers and Paladins because from the people I've talked to, most people agree it's going to come down to how good the pilot on the
I
Redeemer is at flying
yeah.
to kind of outmaneuver the Paladin and kind of stay away from those turrets because you've got to
I
go.
certainly
You've got
do
to go
not want to be.
because you've got to go within range,
Mm.
but the size 5s have the advantage. So it's
I
this
certainly
really
don't want to be on the receiving end of
really
those guns. They're nasty.
really weird juxtapositioning there. But
Yeah,
I'm interested to see where that goes. All right.
absolutely.
So let's get in game and let's go have a look at this. Now I've got the Shadowfall black skin on this one, which is the one that came at concept that you can't pick up anymore. But there is a good selections of skins. I've gone in and looked at all of them. I'm not a big fan of some of them, but obviously that'll be accounting for personal taste. I tend to like darker skins. I'm not a big fan of the concierge one because it's kind of like a dusty tan color on top, then a yellow, and then like a black, and it just doesn't really speak to me. I don't mind the kind of black and red one, and I don't mind the downburst, which is kind of like a gray type of one. This one I wish it had a little bit of color, but I think where the color really comes through on this ship and a lot of the stuff is things like this. They have a lot of red lights on this on the outside, and for me that does, they got a lot of little red tints, so I do think it actually kind of lends itself pretty well to just the black one. But each to their own.
I got to admit, I prefer if I'm looking for skins for a fighter or a gunship or something. The black is, if you're fighting in space, the black's what you want because it blends you in with the background more readily. Now, I imagine there's going to be systems where that doesn't hold true. But as a general rule, if you're fighting in a blacker space, then having a black ship is to your advantage, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
artistically, the thing that really stands out to me on this ship is it's almost like you can see as they're moving and upgrading, going from one ship to the next, like all the stuff that we saw that happened on the Polaris, and then the Polaris did get a little bit updated over as the year went a little bit on. But like, look at all this extra detailing and stuff that you'll notice and stuff, and you'll notice it on the Shiv and the Stinger as well when we reviews those. Just the level of detail has gone up another notch again. And again, you obviously, like, I think of some older ships like I know Grim was talking about the Carrack. It's very smooth and very empty by comparison. So I'm looking forward to coming around to gold passes on other ships and seeing them all come up to this standard. But I just want to highlight it because it is of relevance to there's another new standard. Like it's gone beyond the Zeus again, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm sure you'll remember John Cruise said, basically you get a gold standard and then everything else kind of gets brought up to that. But the next ship that comes out kind of often will raise the bar again. And so it's a never-ending process of reiterating and developing that styling. And this is just an example where we're seeing that has, the standard's gone up and up a bar. So,
yep. I'm not sure. I haven't actually really got in and measured it, but it just seems higher set than the other two, as in the Asgard and the Valkyrie. Maybe it's just because it doesn't have those ramps. I'd have to kind of get in and look. It just seems to have a little bit different, more tanky landing gear, and maybe it feels a bit higher, but it could just be feeling. I don't take my word on that. And I really do. I thought I was going to not like the Entryway, but it's growing on me more and more. Because my initial reaction was, why didn't they make it like the Redeemer, where it just comes out the back and the middle? Because just having it off to one side's a little strange. Like, you've always got to go over to this side, where to me, if it had just kind of, I think realistically, it's just got to be because of this track. But I don't know. To me, it does. It's not a killer, but
Well, I think it's on the port side, at least. I always forget which side port. Is it left or right? But
3 letters for port, 3 letters for left is what I was told. But again,
there you go. So
most people are just going to use left and right. But really nice little animation there on the stairs. We do have a good missile complement there. That's a good thing to check out before we do have. So apparently it's got 4 times. So on each wing. Looks like 4 size 3s and 2 size 4s. Yep, that looks like what I can see. So quite a nice complement of missiles to go with that. Now, in terms of size, it's 53 meters in length, 37.5 meters wide, and 13.6 meters at its highest point. Making it, I know it's not exactly a Valkyrie or Asgard variant because of the way they've done it, but in that series of ships, it does make it the biggest of the 3. I think we can kind of all agree they've kind of been built off the same. I don't know what to even call that, the hull, I guess, and then they got converted or whatever. The same chassis. Yeah, chassis. There we go. That's a good one. So one of the things I do like is how it's got 4 suit lockers and weapons all ready to go right near the exit. It's just something in a lot of the ships where it's not been right near the exit. I've never really quite understood that. I really go ahead. And that was one of the things Essay, who's basically military guru, was like, he was ecstatic that was the case. He said that's where they'd be, right near the entrance. You'd suit up before you go out, not 6 million miles from the door or whatever. So it's got that nice feel to it. So also the lighting, you can tell, has also been taken up to a notch, and you'll kind of see that throughout the ship. You can kind of see this dark red theming. It's really lent into the kind of Star Wars I guess you'd call it Empire style of ships, a lot more than previous ships, but I really like that a lot. It does feel like a military ship as well, with things that are very functional. So even things like this where you kind of got to duck your head under and stuff like that, which I think is cool, and the rack on the stairs and things like that. So I also like the way the stairs have that little light under each stair, so you
you can imagine it still being there when the power's fading. So it's like those emergency exit lights. It's just a nice little touch for visual cues.
So this is a 4SCU cargo area here, essentially doubling that of the Redeemer, because the Redeemer can only take 2 SCU. So, ooh, I've got twice as much, but realistically, not that much anyway. But yeah.
Do you think it'd take a bike?
Yeah, I think you could fit a bike in there, but again, it might come down to why they've deliberately put this thing above it. I think certain bikes might be able to fit in, but maybe not others. And again, you are going to have the inconvenience
problem of getting it out of the door.
But again, I think if you tractor beamed it in, you'd be able to get it in pretty okay. So yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to check out the components as we go around. These very first two are not labeled, and they're not. They're kind of empty. So I'm assuming that they're most likely going to be like a battery or something like that. Down the track, but I thought I'd just show you those even though they are empty. Probably the biggest component on this thing is this is size 3, isn't it, Algared?
Size 3 shield.
Yeah.
Couldn't yet work out what grade it is, so whether it's an A, B, A, B, C, D, E, or whether it's military, civilian, etc. Which I just haven't been able to find that.
We haven't. We should have stored it and brought that up. Maybe we can do that at the end. But again, being size 3, that won't be able to be removed, but all the others can be removed, so that's why we started with that one. You've also got things like life support and that down here, and that is basically it for the downstairs. We'll quickly check out the cockpit down here. One of the functions of this, I won't actually turn it on right now, but you can actually deploy the screen both bottom and top, which is really, really cool. And it's definitely got like a almost like a Mad Max style, when the Mad Max he had the slits on his windows and stuff like that. Blade Runner with some of the cars and that, like a very futuristic armor vibe. Like the retro, I don't know if you remember the plastic glasses from when we were kind of kids.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the slit glasses.
Yeah, like that. So yeah. Another real cool feature that I like that they improved over the Valkyrie and the Asgard is it doesn't have this annoying, because you have to actually go down and then up on the stairs, and both here and upstairs have fixed that, which is a very big boon. We do have the ladder that goes up here, but we won't be taking that right now. We're going to go up to the back. So yeah.
So I think one thing that on the other variants, the one thing that those stairs do is they hide a component bay, which gives room for redundancy. So this has redundancy for its power plants, but it doesn't really have redundancy for its shield because it's got that one large shield. So
yeah, again, relying on armor where the Redeemer's relying on the shields. So this is some kind of belt system. I don't quite understand why this is in here or if it's functional. I just somehow think it's got something to do with blocking cargo. I could be completely wrong, but it looks nice. But again, I hope one day it actually does something. But for now, it doesn't look like it really does anything. Little living quarters out here and food machine, very kind of basic military type of stuff. There are 2 rooms for living quarters. They are both the same. I will show both though. Table, bed, seat, and kind of place for it to sit and some storage. Very rudimentary military look. And it's exactly the same on the other side. I'll show you real quick.
Very utilitarian. Very egalitarian. No one's a captain with special quarters.
But you'll notice
everyone on the ship's got the same.
You'll notice again that the lighting is really just gone up a very big notch. It's not too dark. It's not too light. It's Goldilocks.
It's a Goldilocks zone.
Yeah. All right. So this is the last kind of area. You'll notice there's fuses here and a fuse at the front. I haven't found any other fuses, but that seems to be. Again, I guess they don't want you repairing too much. There is 3 military Aegis power plants. So this thing is very power hungry, but again, there are only size 2s, not size 3s. So yeah.
Yep.
And then we've got, what's this? The jump drive.
Should be the jump drive and quantum drive.
Yep. So there's obviously an engineering panel as well. But yeah, all pretty the same as most other things at the moment. Right. We've also got the 2 coolers. I believe these are the coolers from
Yep.
memory.
Yep.
They are just there. So yeah, everything's pretty easy to access, to be honest.
Yep. So nicely centered around the ship. So for someone who's doing that, engineering on the ship should find it fairly easy to get to those parts.
So yeah, this ship for me, right? And I'm talking just visually. For those of you, if the Reclaimer is the Nostromo, this is the I don't even know what to call it. I don't know the name of it, but you know when they're flying in Aliens, where they're flying down and they go 5x5, it's that ship. It's the essentially the drop ship that the military use in the second film. And once you kind of see that, you kind of can't unsee it. I'll just deploy these real quickly. There is a little bug at the moment. I'm sure this will be fixed in time, but when you scan, it actually scans the windows and you can't see things behind the windows. And I mean that as in the slats. Yep. I don't know if that's the final intent. I would hope not, because that is very detrimental.
That would imply that you're scanning from inside your ship rather than from the scanners that should be outside the ship. So yeah,
exactly. So I assume they're going to fix it. So as you can see, they are independent, but the bottom one is pretty much exactly the same. But yeah, I'm probably not going to fly with it because of the bug today. So I thought I'd show that before we take off. Where the hell did it go? Right, off we go. As I said, those rather meaty landing gear. Get those up out of the way.
Yep.
A little bit of VTOL, but I can't see, like, the engine is noticeably smaller than on the other two, by quite a large margin. I'd almost say it's half the size of the other two, or at least in
one thing I do like as the ship there is those 2 back panels on the sides of those engines. So the engines have actually got it's almost like they've got a bit of shielding from those style, the tail wing type.
I was up against a hammerhead earlier today, and they were the first things to come off with those downwards fin things. They come off, but you can see that red lighting a lot easier now that I was talking about. It really is kind of like all over it, and if I roll it away from the sun, so to speak, you can see it a lot clearer. And then we'll roll over and have a look under the belly. Yeah, so it's definitely carrying those lights over that we saw on Polaris, and I'm pretty sure that they'll carry on to other ships down the line. She's not the fastest either. You can see in SCM she only gets up to a couple of hundred, but it is very much on par with a lot of the ships in this size category. It's not gonna how do I explain the flying of it? It is not as sloppy as, say, a Polaris, but it is like this is a dead ringer of what the Redeemer was before they took the Redeemer back to where it was. It the way it turns and stuff is exactly the same, where you kind of almost prefer rolling than turning. And I found when I'm flying it and they're a gunner, it was just so much quicker to roll than it was to try and, again, like I said, if I turn it, like it just favors rolling over vertical. I guess we'll call it.
And that slowness or slow lumbering movement fits with what the ship is. It's a heavily armored, heavily weaponized platform, and as you know, you go, you always sacrifice one of those 3, speed, armor, weapons. You want speed and armor, you're going to have low weapons. You want so you expect with armor and weapons it's gonna the speed is going to be down, and it's part of balance. It's just one of the things that any game would do.
But as you can see, it is noticeably slower, but when you roll, it's noticeably quicker. So if you are flying this, that would just be a bit of my tip to you. I'm not like a big PvP or anything, but it is noticeably quicker to roll than it is to end over end, or I don't know, what do you call that, lateral or whatever it's called. But yeah, it's definitely quicker in that regard. Right, combat. So, this thing is so much fun to play with other people with. It is very. You've been on the Redeemer, Algared. It's very,
Mm-hmm.
very similar to the Redeemer, especially how it used to be. That turret is just so much fun to be on. It just hits like an art truck. We had freelancers, right? So you know how long it usually takes to take out a freelancer. Yep. We had freelancers that were barely getting, like sometimes they'd get past, but in most cases they would explode on just flying past us. Like so you could almost take out like medium ships like they were fighters. It was kind of, yeah, just
to me that reminds me not as much of the Redeemer, but the Hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
That turret, that big turret with those 4 size 5s, is a step up from a Hurricane. It's got that same gameplay type mechanic where the gunner there is going to be, the pilot's going to be backing the turret gunner up, rather than other stuff. And so it's just got that feel of that same gameplay vibe that I really liked in the Hurricane.
Yeah, well, again, if the pilot can't control the smaller, the bigger turret, sorry, on the top, but you can control the 2 side ones there, so you literally can fly this with 2 people. Wouldn't recommend it because obviously once engineering comes in, there's going to be damaging factors. But I think that's why they've got 2 people, because you can essentially drop the 2 gunners back to do repairs. I think that's the entire plan. And again, you can kind of see the way we walked around the ship. One of the reasons we did that first is so you could literally see how they can essentially access the whole ship and repair it. I think that's the intent. So as shit hits the fan, they drop off because they're downstairs, and these 2 are the primary 2 that do most of the work. Yeah, I don't really have a lot to add other than I really, really like it. What about yourself, Algared? Is there anything you kind of want to add, or?
Well, like I said, it does have that feel of a Hurricane, and I've sung the praises of a Hurricane. I can remember when it first came out and people were bagging the Hurricane and saying it was bad. I got in it and I took it out and flew it with a couple of people, and I was saying, man, this is awesome. It's great. But it makes you work as a team. If the second you try and do it like a normal fighter, it didn't work. You had to work as a team, and this is basically the Hurricane on steroids. It's so I can't not love it.
Yeah, while it is wider and longer and probably taller, I didn't double check the height, but it's bigger than the other 2 variants. It actually feels smaller because it just doesn't have that huge back end. It's essentially got these 2 pylons that the engines are strapped to. So it's kind of in this weird thing where it's a little bit like the Redeemer, where the Redeemer had that tail on it and it kind of made it a bit extra larger than it needed to be. This almost suffers from the similar problem. But like I've had a lot of fun in it. I'm trying to say what's great about the ship that's not just something that's going to come to other ships like the art and all that, but it is a gunship. First and foremost, it's going to kill things, right? That's what it's designed to do. I can't sit here and tell you about all the great gameplay functionality behind it, but if you like going out and doing any of the missions and doing it with a group of people, it's going to be great. But come around to the full game, that might take a little bit of time. But again, I think it's like based on the things that we kind of talk about here, I'd have to assume it's going to be more defensive than offense, just based on what we know of some other ships. I'm
100%.
I'm not a big fan of a lot of the Anvil stuff because it's mainly been fighters. Like I like the Carrack and the Terrapin, but I really like the interior on this one, and I really kind of like the exterior as well. It's just it's taken Anvil to a different spot with me. And I think SA was saying to me during the week that he probably thinks that Anvil's going to become his manufacturer pretty quickly, and I'm kind of in the same boat. Like there's just some things I don't like all their ships, but when they get it right, they really get it right, and it really speaks to me. And I'm really interested to see some, like, can you imagine this literally as a javelin or an Idris? It would just be amazing. I can't see them not making a killing on something like this that big, like
No, I've got to agree. I've just thought I'd double check and see.
What are you double checking?
I was double seeing who made the Hurricane, and
It's
it
Anvil as
is,
well.
I do believe,
It is Anvil.
Anvil as well.
Yep.
I was just double checking that because just for my own peace of mind.
Mm-hmm.
But it, like I said, this really is where the Hurricane is that 2-person fighter with that really big turret. This is that multi-crew ship, and even when you've got the side turrets, if you've got 2 people on those turrets, the pilot is then really working because at that point he's got no guns. He's really working with the team to keep those guns on targets. And then once you need engineering, they drop off. Okay, you lose a bit of your ability to cover the ship from all angles, but then you've got the pilot's got the guns, and you've still got the turret with that massive firepower, and you've still got the crew doing the repairs. So time to kill on this thing should be really good.
You've just reminded me of something else. One thing I will say, the 2 side turrets do not feel useless. They are literally 2 size 4s, so they still pack quite a big punch. And you actually feel that when you're in them, you're actually contributing because you become a bit more defensive, where that top turret is all about just killing stuff. The 2 on the sides are working together to keep things off the back of you, and they are also trying to attack. So they've got this multi-role ability of them, and obviously when you drop those to the pilot, you can't look back. But so there is an advantage. We even had 3 people in it at one stage.
Yep.
And the guy on one was specifically concentrating on defending us.
Yep.
That was really interesting.
And if you've got one guy on a turret facing to the rear, and you've got someone behind you, even that main turret turning to face them, and you're just angling the ship to get the side turret on target, you've got 6 guns smashing into that ship that's following you. That's a massive advantage. Not too many ships can put that much firepower behind them. So this ship speaks volumes to me. It is a style of combat ship that appeals to me. It really lends into that gameplay. You've heard me say it many times. When you've got a multi-crew ship, I think that the gunners should have the bulk of the weaponry, and this feels like CIG have heard me, because if you've got crew on the guns, the pilot's got nothing. He's got the missiles. So yeah, can't say anything bad about this at the moment. Yes,
kind of see there what I mean about it's almost like it's just those pylons because they they've got a lot of length, but they just don't take up any space. And even from the back, like they just don't have the same. I guess it's the same as the back on that, but like again, they just fill out the space. I almost wish in a way it was a little shorter, almost like a snub nose. But again, they wanted it to be bigger, and that's their choice. It's obviously been done for design reasons. But
I suppose that.
Go ahead.
Like the fact that it's got the 4-engine type thing, that's redundancy for your forward momentum.
Yeah.
So in a sense, you've still got that redundancy built into this ship. But yeah, it's a nice ship. I do expect to see. It's a ship that does appeal to me. I can see it very soon entering into my fleet via an upgrade.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to land and get those components, but it's going to take too long because of this damn queue.
You might be able to check the components from inside by looking at the inside of the panels of the ship. Panels of a ship that might pull them up.
No, I wanted to know what actual the shields were, like the actual name of the shields, because we couldn't actually look at the names. That was the shield I specifically wanted to find out. All right, there we go. We got landing. Let's go back around there and do that. Let's do some keep flying. But yeah, as you can see, it's a little bit of a bathtub, but yeah, it just, as I said, it reminds me a lot of the old Redeemer, and that's not a bad thing. I did like the old Redeemer, but I also like the new one.
I did think when we were looking at the shield, I thought I saw FR. So if it is, it might be enough. I hope it's an FR86 because if it's the FR86, it's a Class A shield.
Yep.
But
I wouldn't be surprised if it's not, because they like to put full military on this. Like the Redeemer had the same thing. It was almost full military.
But I could have just been seeing stuff. But
yep, we'll have a look. I've got to store it though. But
yep,
play for a little bit of time here, obviously. But yeah.
But I thought when you were mousing over the shields, I saw that.
I did forget to show these. So there is a computer area, and there is also the radar area as well. And that was the other fuse box I was talking about.
That's right.
So I did forget to show
we do have
those.
a Wilsop radar system there.
Yep. We'll drop down the ladder and go a little slightly different way. Oh, there's a third. No, I didn't say that one before. So there is a third fuse box.
So that's good for a ship, because I think fuse boxes are the type of thing that will help you avoid damage as you go. So the more fuses you've got, the longer you'll be to kill, is my guess. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it pretty much will be that way. I think a lot of the gameplay initially maybe just replacing them, because at the moment, like I was in the when the Asgard came out, I was in combat and I was leaving. I think it was like after the review, we'd done the review, and I was flying the ship back, and it literally, as I went to warp, it came out of warp, and it was completely like just death. It just died, and it was literally tumbling. Oh, hang on, let me store this real quick before I tell the rest of this story. It was literally tumbling, and I couldn't do anything. The warp wouldn't work, no nothing. And I took the fuse out of the back near the cargo area, and I put it up the front where the warp drive was, because it said the one up the warp one at the warp up near the warp drive was like flashing yellow or orange, and I put it up in there, and instantly the whole ship just came back to life, and I could actually then get back to port. It was the first time I'd kind of really moved a fuse, and it actually made a difference. So a lot of that fundamental engineering tech is in. It's just whether
yeah.
All right, let's have a quick look. Alrighty, so under systems we have Sparkfire is what that's called, but the shield generator is a stronghold, so that's only a basilisk Algared. It's not an F1.
All right.
Yeah.
Three
Maelstrom power plants, and then 2 Arctic coolers. So the Arctics, from my memory, are military, as is the
That was the coolers.
Yeah, that's the coolers.
Let me just have a look.
I'm pretty sure the power plant's military as well. It says here, size 2, cooler 1.
If you click on the Arctic itself.
Oh, there we go.
So that's military grade C.
Military grade C. All right, cool. We've got military C on the power plants, and the competition. I knew it wasn't military because but competition.
And the shield generator stronghold. I think that
industrial.
is industrial.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. So interesting.
So I didn't see an FR, but
does leave some room for upgrading there though as well. So interesting to see.
But it's still not a slouch. So price.
I was kind of surprised by it. Coming out at $350, it's like they've deliberately left it so people could kind of upgrade into it off their Redeemer. It's almost like they want people to move off the Redeemer. That really kind of surprised me quite a bit. I don't know. What about you? Do you think that was deliberately intentional?
Well, it could be. I'd like to hope it was them just realizing that ships are overpriced. and trying to and just bring it down, just to, push it up, but keeping
silly Billy like that do that. But yeah, we can also see some of the paints here as well. So you can see that Polaris one there, which is the Solaris one, which is the Thingo one there. And if you look at the other packs there, you can see the other ones. So the red and grey one and the downburst. The white one I didn't look at. I could tell straight away that just wasn't going to appeal to me at all. The default skin's very green, which also doesn't appeal to me. So again, your thoughts may vary there, but I'm just giving you my opinions of the ones I like and I don't. The Shadowfall obviously being the most unique because you just can't get it anymore. But yeah.
Well, as I said, the darker skins on a combat ship they to me have a greater appeal because that makes you darker. The white one, unless you're flying over microtech.
No, yeah. It's still
Yeah.
black on the bottom. They're almost all black on the bottom. So even that one there, right, the Solaris one, there's a very Aussie looking. It's kind of got the yellow and green and gold type thing, but it's all black on the bottom.
Yeah, but and that one does appeal to me only because it's got that red and gold on it. As I said the other day, but in other senses, you know, I'd be looking at one in the darkest.
It did come out.
Yeah.
The ship overall did come out more expensive than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be 300 war bond, and I thought it was going to be 330, exactly the same in line as the Redeemer, but no, it jumped even more. And my reasoning for that was it was $280, which was exactly the same price at concept as the Redeemer. But somewhere along the line, someone moved the price. I think you can take that as a more money grab type thing. I think it's deliberately because they want people to have the chance to move off the Redeemer. And I get a feeling, you tell me, Algared, but I think a lot of people are going to take that jump. What are your thoughts on that?
Look, I think I remember the changes they made to Redeemer, and your initial response was, they've killed my Redeemer. They've butchered it.
Well, they've
absolutely nerfed it to the earth, and there's no good in your Redeemer anymore.
But no, it was after I got out there and I flew it around again, and I realized that was like the shields had increased and the movability had increased. There was a whole bunch of stuff they'd done, and I've now got it back. Right, so now I can pick which one.
Now you got a choice, and I think that's one of the reasons. So I think that they have done it. So you know they've left it so you can swap to give that choice to players, because that's one of the things they do like.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is from the front, the Redeemer's still got a slimmer, more slim profile. Where this is definitely she's a thick girl. So she is going to be taking hits, unlike a Redeemer, where the Redeemer is really going to be trying to avoid the hits as much as possible. As I said, the most interesting thing for me that I really want to get out there and do is literally get two really good teams of people together, even if I'm not in the ship myself, right? Just two really good teams of people together. Might even call in some favors. I'll try. And just get some really good PvP pilots in both of them, and some really good gunners, and just test that. I think it would make a really interesting video, because we don't have so many ships that are bigger, right? You can take an Arrow and a Talon or something like that, and you can do a dogfight. But there's up until this point, you correct me if I'm wrong, there really hasn't been two that kind of compete like this. And I would have said before this arrived, it probably would have been something like the Perseus and the Hammerhead potentially, because they are they have a little area of overlap there. But now I think these two are definitely in front of those.
Even when you were looking at the price, you know, and you were expecting the price to be the same, you were even thinking, this is the Redeemer. It's got these capabilities. I'm expecting this to be, you know, either not have a movement, but have more guns, or, you know, you were doing that same type of thing. This has got speed and agility, but lower shielding. This one's got that. You know, you knew that was going to be the case, and
it's kind of
just which way it was going to fall.
Well, it's kind of weird because they mainly have a lot of, from memory, it's a lot of size 3 components, but they dropped the size 3. It had 2 size 3 shields in the Redeemer, and they've now dropped it down to 6 size 2s, right? So essentially, this has only got 1 size 6. So essentially, if you want to look at it in 3 2s are almost equal to 1 3, the Redeemer's got double the shields.
Yep.
Right.
So it's the true Aegis versus Anvil battle. Now, if we do get 2 really good PvP teams in the ships, I like to see them do it twice. With each team flying both ships. So
well, it's something that's going to change as well, because I think once armor comes in, this ship will be different again. Because right now, armor's not real; it's kind of faked. You know, one other thing that I can't show because we've landed now, but the control surfaces, like the flaps and stuff, they are actually in and working on it as well. So it was quite interesting to see those as you're flying around and they were moving. So again, just another thing that shows that it's the gold standard is, or the current standard has moved up again, which is really interesting. Like for the comments, I don't know. I guess my question is, like, is this better than the Redeemer for you? I'm going to kind of hold off before I make the jump. My recommendation, until you've had a chance to physically get in and do it, is just pick up an upgrade from one to the other. I think it's like $20, so it's $330 to $350, and just sit on it, because then you can make up your mind. And so many people are going to have the Paladin once it goes live. I'm sure you can get in there and try it out, and then make the decision for yourself. I wouldn't jump the gun straight away. I do think there needs to be a lot more thorough testing, and the only way to do that is to get it in more people's hands, and I really need to be in the live environment to do that. I've been out at it 5 or 6 times in just the last 24 hours. I've been on my own, but most of the time I've been with other people, and it just really, I need more time to get to that point. But I'm loving everything I'm seeing. I'm still going to keep it, put it that way.
That's your experience, and that applies to you. And so every person's going to need to make that decision. Some people are going to say, "Nah, give me the Redeemer," and some people are going to say, "Give me the Paladin." And some people aren't going to look at the flight of the ships. They're going to say, "No, that's Aegis. No, that's Anvil." And so there's that choice there. But I think in the wider scheme, they both do the same job. They just do it in a slightly nuanced.
It's hard to look past how good it looks and try and look at the functionality of it, and that's the part I'm trying to emphasize. It looks amazing. It's a lot more functional. It's a more polished than a lot of other ships, especially like the Redeemer. But again, you got to remember, all those ships will eventually be brought up to that standard. So you've just got to be a bit patient and not pull the trigger too quickly on jumping on it.
And the other thing to remember is that at the moment it does seem to be really, really good. And it's going to get balance changes. It is going to get balanced as time goes on. So that may go up, it may go down, but it's going to be balanced to make sure it fits where they want it to fit. And that's just something to just be aware of.
What about you, Algared? What would you like to hear in the comments below?
What do you like? Are you looking at Boiling Trigger? Do you like it over the Aegis Redeemer? Is it, in your opinion, a upgraded Hammerhead? Not Hammerhead, Hurricane. So
it's almost like the Hurricane and the Scorpius had a baby in a way, but then the baby got really fat. I don't know how to say it, because it's got the track off it's got the best of both of them, right? It's got the psychology of the Hurricane, but then some extra gunners as well. But it's got the track of the Scorpius,
that ability to go up and down, and so it is a really, it does appeal to me. So my question is, does it appeal to others? Now the other question, the big question for a buyer's guide: is it worth it? Is it worth getting?
That again is going to come back to what you like in game. If you're a miner, you might not have no need for this whatsoever, right? I don't have a heap of attack ships, right? I have a couple. Right, so I have like I guess because I have the Kraken, the Polaris, the Redeemer, and this. That's it. So I've kind of got a selection. Is what I've gone for 3 or 4 across the board, and that's just all I've got. And so again, I think if you're going to have a diverse fleet like I intended, you've got to have a little bit of everything. So that's just I'll learn down into the fighters.
I've just got to work out what I want to see as what chip is going to be CCU or upgraded to that.
My vote is a Cutlass Steel.
Right. That's a fair call. Whether that is the one that does bite the bullet and die, or whether it's one of the ships I've got doubled up. So, but yeah, anyway. All right, that's a different story.
With that, then, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank to everyone that went the extra mile at the end of the video on Patreon. With that, then, he's been Old Man Hurston, Algared.
He's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take care.
See you, citizens.